If you look at Hohm today, it basically answers three basic questions. The first question it answers is, where's all my energy being consumed? It's going to heating, cooling, lighting, consumer electronics, other appliances. We disaggregate your total consumption and give you a breakdown and accounting of where it's all going. The second thing we allow you to do is compare how you are against someone in a similar situation.
Oh, the shame situation.
Yes. And are you an energy hog? Are you an energy miser? In my case, I have a big old house built back in 1919. It was kind of drafty.
Okay.
I was an energy hog when I first started out using Microsoft Home. I dropped my consumption by about 20%, even though I have a growing family. I had a daughter and I got another one on the way.
Without retrofits, did you do like insulation or something?
A lot of things.
Okay.
So insulation, one funny story I was telling Pete on the way over is, as we were tracking our energy usage, I noticed it started to climb up again, and I accused my wife, who was increasingly home because of the baby, of leaving a lot of lights on, which, by the way, I would never recommend anyone doing. But what I ended up discovering was, no, she wasn't leaving the lights on. What was happening was we had a very slow leak in a very large refrigerator we had in the kitchen. And over time, we noticed that the refrigerator was running almost non-stop.
Interesting.
So we called the refrigerator repairman. He came out and found the leak, fixed it, and then we saw an immediate drop of somewhere between 10 and 15% on our total consumption just from that. So, it's one of those things where if you have better tools to actually track where all your energy is being used, and over time, as the home area network develops and all the appliances are interconnected and you can track all of this in real time, those types of problems that I mentioned will be much more easily discoverable.
Now, how's the data in Home? I mean, do you put sensors and wireless nodes on each one of the major appliances, or is it more
that's
simulation and
that's the great thing about Home is if you don't have any devices, you can still use it. If your utility doesn't support Home, you can still use it. But as devices come onto the market and then as utilities add support for it, you get more rich sources of data, which only adds to the quality of the experience.
So something simulative. I mean, hey, you fraction.
I simulate today, and let me put in a little plug for the guys over at Lawrence Berkeley Labs who did a wonderful job building out these analytics over the last 15 years. I mean, it's really great stuff, and we licensed those analytics from Rich Brown and Evan Mills over at Lawrence Berkeley, and we incorporated it into our platform. Give you an idea of how sophisticated that stuff is. We actually we take your house and we model every hour of every day for an entire year and take the characteristics of your household and model them against the local weather conditions, historical weather conditions for that particular climactic region. And we determine whether or not your house is thermodynamically efficient or not.
But the data you put in, you put like how many windows, what are your utility bills, what's the square footage, do you have insulation or not?
Yep.
Okay.
And longer term, as we move beyond simply having data, and we have connections to key appliances like, say, the thermostat, we'll be able to tell how often your HVAC is running, and we'll know how hot it is outside, and we'll notice that, hey, your air conditioner is cycling on every 10 minutes because the hot air is being let into your home, and as a result, you probably have some insulation problems, or maybe your condenser or your compressor is not fully charged and you have some problems there. So again, we can take in all that raw data, distill it down, and provide actionable information to say, hey, Michael, you better call the air conditioner repairman because you're running low on Freon.
Now, eventually, will you take this into dynamic home management? Things like, by the way, like the refrigerator, everyone wants to put the refrigerator, the defrost cycle at night. But, today's fridges aren't programmed. But you actually have a service say, okay, look, we're going to run this one at 4:30 in the morning.
Or we're going to run it when the utility says there's lots of excess screen power available, and they'll send a signal down, and then we'll trigger that, within some characteristics.
Use that wind power in Texas that they dump right now.
Yeah, exactly.